Hello everybody, it's Masterpiece here, and today we're going to go over Examon deck profile for BT12. So going up first is going to be our eggs, our baby Domon. This is our preferred egg because first it's an all turns effects, that's really great. But also when our Examon or Germon unsuspends, like that's perfect. Like that's typically what our goal is for Slayer, Germon, Examon. So totally doable. And we don't really go aggressive and like attack a lot, so the when attacking stuff doesn't matter. So for going for our first rookie, it's gonna be Dracomon from BT11. So what I like its effect for both its your turn effect and for its inheritable, because sometimes if I'm definitely just like setting up and like I don't have anything in my hand, I just promote this during your turn 2, and I play another Dracomon or to like search. So I'll draw and search at the same time, that's great. Or if I want, I can play the Corjamon and draw 3, you know? That's perfect. And this is really good for as an inheritable. Let's say, for instance, we have a Wingdramon. We are going to play a Groundramon that is going to get into memory, so play cost pretty much Groundramon got played for 6. And then go to Examon, it's a DNA'd, and it'll play out, let's say it'll play a Corjamon. And because the inheritable resets from DNA, it's like you play Groundramon for 5. And there's another combo which we'll go over more later to benefit off of that. But yeah, simply Dragomon's effect is both good your turn and inheritable. Inheritable might be a bit better used as you want to save it up. Next is Blugamon. Blugamon is a card you can definitely switch out with different rookies that you prefer. I think sometimes with Examon you're a bit slow and you need your draw power. So this really comes in handy as you just comes out security, draw 2, and it goes in your hand if you don't have a rookie. So that's 3 cards in your hand just for being hidden security. That's great. And this may seem bad as like a lot of these Corjamons have Digivolve for 3 on top of Blugamon, but only 2 on top of our typical Dracomon. That's simply when you use this Corjamon to Digivolve, as it will be a normal Digivolve for 2. Yeah, Blugamon's great, mainly for the draw power. Alright, going to our third and last rookie. On play, reveal top 4, you get 2 cards from this. Get a Drummon, so that either that is like the level 4s, level 5s, level 6s, and 1 Examon. And Examon's always necessary. So luckily it's not like something a bit too specific or only one of the cards. So yeah, this is a great card. And Inheritable is really good too. Unlike the egg which says you have to unsuspend, Dracomon's just asks you to suspend. So your blocker, let's say early game, is Corjamon. He's now a 7k. So that's really good. Alright, so finally going into our champions. This is a 2 of, which may seem little, but I'm going to explain. First, Evade is a good effect. Evade is a good heritable. But we have it in our ultimate already, and that's what we're going to use it. That's what we're going to use all the time to DNA. So a bit redundant at times to have double Evade. And it could be good if you have a stack. Let's say you're building up. This is a good card if you have go to Evade Corjamon, then go to block Groundramon on top. That's fine. You know, add some diversity in that line. That's great. Another thing you can do with this card is if your opponent likes to delete your stuff, and again they don't read, like some a lot of players don't read. You literally play this for 5. Let's say you're bricked or you have extra memory, you know what to do with it. Go ahead and play this for 5, and your opponent's tempted to delete it, you evade, and maybe cost like 4 memory at least to try to delete it at level 4. Then you just evade that, take that memory, and go wild next turn. As they ask you to take back turn, and you say no, don't let them take back turn. You are a roll shark, and you will win nats. No, you're just trying to win locals. Yeah, that too. Going next is going to be our Security Corjamon. Security Corjamon's always great because first, you can let you Digivolve for 2 on top of Blugamon. Second, good to become a security, you get a draw 2. Third, unlike Blugamon, it has an on-play to draw the 2. It's not as a dead card in the hand, because you can definitely play it off of the Examon effect to just draw 2, especially if you don't really know what to play. Just play Corjamon to draw 2 for Examon's effect. Or, again, you don't know what to do with your turn. Similar to the other Corjamon, you can just instead of baiting out for evade, you just draw to draw. And your opponent is scared of you playing out the Corjamon out of nowhere, because that just means like mentally and visually that my opponent can Digivolve next turn to level 5 and get that much closer. And for you, you're just playing to play it. it's more of a mental game for your opponents. So yeah, good card, great card. I love it. Next is gonna be our green Wargreymon. Yeah, this is a great card. You do want to add diversity sometimes with your colors. As we do have Davis, so you want to get some other greens sometimes. And yeah, also blocker is a really good effect, especially early. One reason why this is a lot better early as a champion is because if people are rushing you, blocker is what you need. You don't need evade. If people early are really trying to kill you, just block it. You just need a block. That's why it's really great. And also you can use it for your Ringdramon. So you can, well, sort of like how I explained with Wargreymon, blue Wargreymon and the Groundramon. You have the mental game of being able to block when you want to block and being able to prevent deletion when you want to be able to prevent deletion. So it's always your call to sort of let things go. If you don't think you need to block, or if you block you might die, you know, think about it. And just you have more flexibility with that. Okay, Wingdramon and Groundramon, they're both about the same, so that's why I'm going to talk about them both at the same time. They're both their ultimates. They both end a turn can DNA. If it's blue in his deck, it has evade. If it's green in his deck, it has a blocker. That's about all I can say. Don't be afraid to hard play this sometimes, really don't, since especially early, your opponents that don't have setup to try to delete it, and they won't always have cards in their hand to delete it. Don't be scared, because sometimes this deck is just hard play. Do something. And when you Digivolve into the next thing, that you definitely alternate. Our next card is going to be Slayerdramon. So Slayerdramon, when this becomes suspended, unsuspend. So typically I like using this card, especially aggressively, to just swing at security one check at a time. You don't do double check, you do want to use this as a blocker for your opponent's turn. Sorry, opponent's main phase, you can suspend a Dramon or Examon on the field. It doesn't have to be this Slayerdramon. It could literally be the Wargreymon you just played for this on play. Okay, you can do that. You can tap a separate Wargreymon for your opponent to attack. So yeah, that's really good. And also that start your opponent's main phase effect is also in your heritable, so that's great. One thing to note is that when you do tap Slayerdramon and force your opponent to attack, and you, let's say, suspend Wargreymon or suspend Examon, you don't get to suspend your opponent right away. Your opponent has to declare the attack first, and they can do all that. And also second, your opponent can make their suspended Digimon attack, or anything that's not like can attack you. Reason being is that the rules allows it, and it'll just fail to attack. That's it. So yeah, that's interesting. All right. Oh yeah, I should say that for Slayerdramon, I would say you typically play it out because you want that aggression. Next one, Wargreymon, we're playing as a 3-of. You can definitely dumb it down to a 2-of, which is why I mentioned the numbers. This is like the flex spot, and I think I might change it up. So all turns effect, when this Digimon becomes suspended, suspend one of your opponent's Digimon, which is good, you know. You can definitely use it on your turn or your opponent's turn. You definitely decide what you need. Like let's say the enemy has only one Digimon in the field, no eggs, nothing amazing. You can definitely swing with Beelstarmon to security, and now your opponent's Digimon is vulnerable, because I'm assuming you have another Examon on board. That's why this thing's up in the first place. Then you just swing over it. You get a safe trash from security, and then your opponent is sort of dumbfounded on like what to do with the situation. I love this card, especially the all turns effect when you delete something, delete opponent's Digimon in battle with the Drum and Examon, trash top card security. This is a really good effect. That's why I like putting it in the heritables on my Examon typically. So yeah, and these do stack. Like if you have multiple Digimon in your stack, these are like separate effects and you can activate them. So that's really good. All right, Examon. So sometimes you just Digivolve into this Digimon. You don't always have to focus on DNA. One reason why I might not want a DNA is because sometimes you want to diversify the levels and DPs depending on the matchups. So that's why you want to do that. Like I was against a Wargrey. He Omni-X'd me and bottom deck 2 Examons. I'm like, if I just diversified the field, I would have had it. And yeah, so sometimes all these May effects are really just May effects. You don't have to do it. So doing Digivolving, you may put something in your source that has Drummon in the name. And sometimes you want to save that card for later, for another stack, or you already doubled up on it. You already have an evade. Why would you do another Wargreymon evade in your stack? Doesn't make sense. Be sure against hunters, even though you DNA, it's a you May effect with playing a Digimon Drummon with 12 or less. It's a May effect. You don't have to do it, because especially against hunters, you're just afraid of your Examon getting tucked under the thing you just summoned. Have some self control. Okay. It's all turns effect. And this Digimon becomes suspending one of your opponent's Digimon. You might see my Examon versus Beelstarmon deck, or Examon versus Beelstarmon. I am pretty patient with it, because Beelstarmon, you just let them deck out. Go ahead. I have evade, I'm gonna block you. But yeah, make sure to, like, I would think of this unsuspending thing as, like, one of its unsuspendings as evade. Because you can you can definitely evade, unsuspend, suspend something on the board, then block, or some, and like I do something like that. It was, yeah, just know when to use evade and stuff. It's hard to explain. You can watch my gameplay. I would advise the Beelstarmon and Examon. But yeah, it's a good card. Alright, here we have the One of Death Examon. There's a bunch of hunters out there, okay? There's a bunch of cross out there. A bunch of red hybrids. You're using it. You need this card. You don't always use a card, but you need this card, okay? Especially Wargreymon. Wargreymon is now the new Tamer deck. I'm saying Tamer deck because they flood the board with Tamers, so yeah. That deck is good. Keep it. Alright, here we have Great Maelstrom. Great Maelstrom is one of the new cards from BT12. I think this is one of the cards that make the deck more consistent. So, it costs 9, but you can reduce the cost by 3 to make it cost 6. When you place one of your blue Digimon underneath another blue Digimon. And that's really good because if you have Jackamon and you just gave an inheritable that gives you 1 memory. If you tuck in the other Jackamon because you played it for searching earlier, you give one of your Digimon 1 KDB plus. So these like simple blockers, let's say 6k, 7k, gets 2k plus, assuming you double it up, or you get 2 memory when summoning. So now like the ground Digimon combo costs 4 to get to Examon. So it helps you set up your own self, and one of its main important parts is bottoming your opponent's card. That is a really key point. It doesn't bounce a hand, it bounces to the bottom of your opponent's deck. I think just bottoming a card is one of the strongest things in Digimon, because it's not a resource at all. It's not in the trash for purple decks, it's not in the hand just to reuse it. You're now aware of how much, like, what is in your opponent's deck, and you now know how much cards in your opponent's hand and how much little options they have now. Yeah, Great Maelstrom is a great card. I think it is the new security bomb, new option cards you have in every Examon deck. Alright, next we have Ice Wall. Ice Wall is a great card. You don't, okay, just because it's tempting, don't just use it. Save it up for like that moment where your opponent actually has lethal. If you can survive a turn, but you're itching to choke your opponent to 1, don't use it, okay? Calm down. If you're wondering what Ice Wall does, all your opponent's Digimon gain 1 attacking, lose 2 memory until the end of their next turn. Security, gain 2 memory. That's about it. So what you would typically use this for Ice Wall is combo with Digimon as you choke your opponent to 1, typically, and you force your opponent to attack with Digimon effect. And then your opponent swings to pass over the turn. Yeah. What sucks is when you go against Beelstarmon, you choke them to 1 perfectly, and they swing when attacking, they can maybe gain memory from what they trash. How do they gain their memory off of luck? Sometimes not luck, they just have a Wizardmon or Ayamako, some weird thing like that. But it is what it is. Ice Wall is great. Alright, blue memory boost. I play blue memory boost a lot because sometimes it's a good security hit. You need the memory to go like for your game plan. And also sometimes you're trying to search for your pieces. That's really good. Like Digimont's a really key piece you always need in your stack, or just the actual Examon. And lastly, you play this card instead of more Davises because there's hunter deck out there. You're scared. You don't want to get tucked. So yeah, play this card. However, if your locals are a bit safer from Davis, or you noticed in recent tournaments there's not that many hunters, go ahead and play more Davises. Alright, Kaiser Nail. Kaiser Nail is, I think, one of the mandatory cards for Examon because it just helps make so many more plays for this deck. Like I said, I make a stack with typically, and you make a stack, let's say from Groundmon to Slayermon, because you know you're a pro at this and you're lucky. Yeah, Slayermon is really, it's such a huge boss. It can now double block for you. But also, if you Kaiser Nailed, let's say you have Jagmon underneath, okay, the one that gains you memory. You Kaiser Nail Slayermon to take out the Crown Dramon. Boom, gain 1 memory from playing the Ground Dramon. Now does it cost 3 Kaiser Nail. DNA because of Ground Dramon's effect. get Examon out, play something out, and Dragomon get you another memory card, reset it. So that's a cost 2 cards now and got you level 7. That's insane. Now, would I play it at a 2 of? I don't think so, because I think you only play it for like one situation, and you only use it that one time, and then the rest of the game you don't really play it. So it's more of a situational card, and you don't really play it more than a 1 of. Okay, Samada Santi. Samada Santi is such a great card. I might bump it up to 2, maybe. So, you may suspend one of your opponent's Digimon to suspend one of your opponent's. Sorry, suspend your Digimon to suspend one of your opponent's Digimon or Tamers. Your opponent's card suspended with this effect cannot unsuspend until the end of the next turn. This is really good because you definitely suspend Breakdramon or suspend your stuff a bit safer instead of having to force yourself to swing in security. And then now your opponent's Digimon is vulnerable to get attacked. Then with Breakdramon effect, you get a safer security check. Another thing is just hunters. Hunters are so annoying. So you can tap their Tamers. Or Beelstarmon, if Beelstarmon is trying to stall the game, they're decked out, but they have Ayamako, so they don't deck every deck out. Use them on a Sante, that'll just ruin your day. Wargrey is kind of hard because they have multiple ties. Okay, it's never just one tie, but it can help. Also a great security bomb. Alright, Davis. I think Davis is obvious. Examon's a costly deck, so always having 3 memory at the start of your turn at least is great. It adds more consistency to your deck as you can totally Digivolve twice now in the same turn, or Digivolve, play boost, whatever. Yeah, great card. And on play is even greater because Examon's a green-blue deck. It's a bit obvious. So you want to get both cards, green and blue. Whether it is an Examon and Slayerdramon, or Examon and Breakdramon, or just anything you really need. So yeah, that's the deck, but we do have side deck cards. I'm gonna add one more just for EX4 reasons. But it is called Heavenly's Judgment, I believe. So for our side deck, we have Chirakomon. Yeah, this is more like you want to use alt arts, each one more consistent Chirakomon in your deck because you want. It definitely is kind of good, but the only bad part is that when you search 3, if Examon's in there, you can't grab it because it's not a Dromon. Like this Chirakomon was never in mind for Examon, it was always in mind for all Force Digimon. It's harder to prove with this card fully. So this is more like a 1 or 2 of if you want to play it. Don't play at a 4 of. Next is Hadoke Betamon, which is good, and definitely depends on on what the meta is. And recently the meta is typically Tamers are giving you memory, like from Hunters, from Ties. So it's hard to block anyone gaining memory. You want to play people need a boost, so people still play a lot of boost. So you can still play this card, but it's hard. Like Beelstarmon, they give you memory, but they can delete you as a trashing. So it's kind of hard. It's really hard. But you definitely can play it as a 2 of. Then play Siakamon as also as a 2 of. Because Siakamon is a really good card that can reduce Digivolution costs for your opponents. So if your opponent's playing hybrids, this is great. If your opponent's playing Blue Lord, this is great. If your opponent's playing Hunters, this is great. If playing Mastermon, is great. Yeah, a bunch of decks that are still relevant, that is sort of cucks. Alright, next is Megadeth. Megadeth suspends one of your opponent's Digimon and return one opponent's suspended Digimon to your hand. So, if it comes out of security, it can wipe 2 Digimon off the board. By that I mean prevent the Digimon that can go for a game and bounce the Digimon that just attacked that is going to be a threat for next turn. They're a great card. Only a bad part, which I don't like about the card, is being dual colored. Sure, Examon is dual colored, but everything else is monocolored. And you typically are just building one stack until you are more available to do things. So getting 2 colors on the board is really hard. And due to that, I find it inconsistent and a deck card in hand a lot of times. So yeah, that's my take on it. Alright, for EX4 players, Examon doesn't really change too much. You mainly change your your like numbers on stuff on preferences, but this card is a new card that you must put in your deck. So instead of Great Maelstrom, I might play this card instead, because it is yellow. But while you control a green Digimon or a Tamer, if you want a Tamer, you could play Mimi. Because yeah, I'll put that in the side deck. But for each color among Digimon you have in play, you minus 6k one of your opponent's Digimon. So you can minus 6k one Digimon, minus 6k another Digimon, or just minus 6k twice on one Digimon to minus 12k. So yeah, and because Examon is dual color, it is going to be minus 12 total. So that's really good. It only costs 7. Alright. Forgot to add one more side deck card. But it is going to be Mimi. Okay, there's a bunch of side deck cards you can add, okay? There is a bunch of Tamers, but I'm gonna just say Mimi for sure. You can literally play... Okay, I'll just show you all the things you can do. People play Takumi. I don't think it's good right now. People play Digimon Emperor. Like Digimon Emperor, it has been a good current slot index because Digimon Emperor counters Red Hybrid, which I think is gonna be more relevant nowadays. Because Beelstarmon's out of the picture, Digimon Emperor is gonna be good. Also people just want to promote their level 3 to get the Digimon effect, which champions have been really good with the Digivolving, since typically now they play Tamers. So it is kind of scary, and Digimon Emperor is not a bad choice. Takumi Aiba, Texas level 3s at swing, and it goes for both players. Also, you can draw when you Digivolve. And Examon is a sucker for a low hand size, so it is a plus. But I just don't like it, especially I'm scared of Hunters. I don't want more Tamers on board. Only what I need. Okay, Mimi's really great. Mimi's really great because, well, it'll probably be even better with the promo Jakamon that comes out in the future, but it's not out yet. But Mimi can let you have another stack ready a lot faster. That's really what it is. And I don't know, maybe sometimes you can go for your game. As you swing with Examon, it survives, and then you can finally tap Mimi to safely go for the last check. You don't just go willy-nilly and tap Mimi, because that Digimon you promoted might just die from the security check due to, like, let's say Crimson Blaze or something. So yeah. Alright, that is officially all the cards I'm going to include for the side deck. And yeah, that is a deck list. Let me just zoom this out. Alright. Hopefully guys, well, I guess overall, let me know if you agree or disagree on my deck on this deck list. You know, let me know what you would change, whether it's for preferences or because I am wrong. So yeah, like, comment, subscribe, and hope you guys have a great day or not. The choice is yours. Goodbye.